It's something we all feared might happen, but ultimately came true on May 18th. Rafael Nadal has withdrawn from the 2023 French Open. And this news has sent a ripple effect throughout the tennis community, and a sad one for me personally, I might add, because Nadal has been my favorite player for the last 18 years. But his withdrawal ultimately creates a huge gap in this year's draw, and it creates a huge opportunity for many other players. And frankly, this trophy has not been available much the past 18 years. I know Federer got one, Wawrinka got one, Djokovic got two, all compared to Nadal's 14 majors at the French Open. And so I think this tournament's going to be a very interesting one to watch with some very intriguing storylines. And by the way, I'm Eric Claggett with Primal Tennis. I'm a tennis fanatic. This channel is dedicated to all things tennis, so I hope you get the chance to see some of my other videos. And the first one for me is, can Alcaraz make a statement? Can he back up what he did at the 2022 US Open? Can he win his second Grand Slam title on a different surface? If you remember his first title at last year's US Open, he beat Sinner, Tiafoe, and Ruud consecutively to win that tournament in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and final. But that's not the same as beating a Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal to win a title. Not even close. And if you remember, Djokovic was absent because he didn't have the vaccine, so wasn't able to make the tournament. Nadal lost early in the fourth round, just didn't quite have it. So I'm looking forward to seeing Alcaraz in some epic 5-set battles at this year's French Open. And he has absolutely dominated this year's clay court season, winning both Barcelona and Madrid. I think he's the fittest tennis player on earth, and he grew up playing on the red clay. And I think he's going to keep Spain's dominance at Roland Garros continuing for future years. So I think Alcaraz makes a statement here at the French Open. I think he wins the tournament in the final over Djokovic. I know he just lost early, second round at the Italian Open, and he's just really going to benefit from that extra rest. He's going to go into Roland Garros super fresh, ready to go. Guys, please comment in the comment section and let me know what you think. I want to hear your opinion on what you think about this year's French Open. The next thing I'm looking for is, can Novak Djokovic win his 23rd major and pull ahead of Rafael Nadal for good? And the sting of doing that at Roland Garros, where Rafael Nadal made his dominance, while Nadal's sitting at home injured, watching Djokovic do that, it's got to sting a little bit. I know Rafa says he doesn't care anymore about who has the most majors, but just seeing Djokovic do that while he's at home injured and can't do anything about it, I think it's going to fuel Rafa to push harder than ever to come back stronger, to make a big push in 2024. Now, Djokovic is probably the second best clay court player ever, although he's only got 2 titles at the French Open, winning in 2016 and 2021. But he's been in the finals 6 times. Just a ton of those losses came at the hands of Rafael Nadal, but he's really been the only person that pushed Nadal on a yearly basis at Roland Garros, besides a brief peak by Robin Soderling. I really think that Djokovic would probably have 6 or 8 French Open titles if it wasn't for Nadal, because he just lost so many times in the quarters, semis, and finals against Nadal. Another thing I'm watching for is, can anyone from that second tier break through? Can even anyone from that second tier make a run at this title? And for me, that second tier for this tournament, this year's tournament specifically, is Casper Ruud, Stefanos Tsitsipas, and Daniil Medvedev. If either Alcaraz or Djokovic gets knocked out early, I think it's going to be at the hands of one of those 3 players. If I had to rank these guys in order of who I think is going to win the title or has a chance to win the title, I would go Tsitsipas 1, Medvedev 2, and Casper Ruud 3. Now, Tsitsipas' best surface is red clay. Who remembers when he was up 2 sets to love against Djokovic in the 2021 French Open final? Wow. And he's been in the semifinals twice and the finals once. Both times he actually lost to Djokovic in 5 sets. And he's a guy that really needs to just break through, or you fear that he just never will. Although he's only just 24 years old, it seems like he's been around forever. And I think Medvedev is just starting to turn the other corner on other surfaces besides hard courts, where he's just truly dominant. But he just recently made the Italian Open semifinals, plays in the finals this weekend, and he's been playing decently this year on the red clay. Now, Ruud has won 10 ATP titles, but 9 of them were on clay, so it's his best surface. And he lost last year in the final to Rafael Nadal. Although this season he's been a little bit off. He's lost early at Monte Carlo, Barcelona, and Madrid, failing to make the quarterfinals in all 3, although he's done better recently at the Italian Open. Okay, I'm gonna pick a dark horse here, and I'm gonna be bold and pick FAA, Felix Auger-Aliassime. Now, why is this bold? Well, he's recently returned from a left knee injury. That's why we haven't heard his name much the past few months. And he lost first round at Madrid and the Italian Open, his only 2 clay court tournaments this year. Now, he's never made a slam final before, and his best appearance at the French Open was in 2022 when he lost 4th round to Rafael Nadal in an epic 5-set match. He's another guy that seems like he's been around a while, although he's only 22 years old. Now, he hasn't found his form yet this year because of that left knee injury, but he's coached by Tony Nadal, Rafael Nadal's uncle. He's incredibly fit with a huge serve and just an absolute animal to take out in best of 5 sets. And with his huge serve, he's different than typical big servers in that he's a very good mover and has an all-around game to back it up. 2 other dark horses worth mentioning are Holger Rune and Borna Coric, just because they've been playing some fantastic red clay tennis this year, although I don't think that they have what it takes to take out some of those top dogs at Roland Garros in best of 3 out of 5 sets. There are some other good players I like Sinner and Rublev, but I strongly put them in the category of prove it to me. They need to start proving they can do something when it matters in a Grand Slam and not just those smaller ATP tournaments. But they are players that I like. And the last takeaway is that Rafa plans to play through 2024. I was so relieved to hear this news. Thank God that he's going to stick around for another year, because about 20% of me thought he might actually retire altogether on his press conference on May 18th. Now it looks like he's gonna miss Wimbledon as well and maybe make a run for this year's US Open. Any tournament that Nadal is in when he's healthy, he's always a threat. And at last year's Wimbledon, he was playing absolutely incredible. I really thought he was gonna win that tournament until he had the freak injury on the abdominal tear. It's always something on his body that gives him trouble, so maybe taking the next 3 months off to get fully healthy will give him an opportunity to add a few more majors to his collection. So I still think that this year's tournament is going to be a very interesting one to watch. You've got Alcaraz coming up with the new era versus Djokovic in the old era. Who's going to win? Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment in the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about this year's French Open. Please like this video so it can spread to more people, and subscribe to the channel. And I hope to see you on the court soon.